Gordon Ramsay, the world-renowned chef known for his fiery temperament and razor-sharp critiques, has set his sights far beyond the kitchen. This time his target wasn't an under-seasoned dish or an overcooked steak, but UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer himself. The unexpected roasting occurred during an event in London where Ramsay, true to his unfiltered style, dissected Starmer's tenure in office with the precision of a master chef carving into a tenderloin. The critique, sharp and unrelenting, sent shockwaves through political and cultural circles alike as Ramsay shifted from culinary commentary to a biting analysis of governance. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The clash of these two titans, one a culinary icon, the other the head of a nation, created an extraordinary spectacle. Ramsay, whose fame rests on his no-nonsense demeanor, seemed to embody the frustrations of many who have watched Starmer navigate his time as Prime Minister. It wasn't simply the fact of Ramsay's criticism that made the moment significant. It was the sheer intensity of his words and the unflinching manner in which he delivered them. Here was a man whose usual domain involves soufflés and sous vide, suddenly stepping into the arena of political discourse with a ferocity rarely seen even in Westminster. Ramsay's grievances centered on what he perceived as Starmer's inability to seize decisive moments and enact meaningful change. Over the course of his time in office, Starmer has faced both praise and criticism for his measured, pragmatic approach to governance. However, Ramsay seemed to dismiss this strategy entirely, suggesting that Starmer's leadership lacked the boldness required to navigate the turbulent waters of modern British politics. It was a scathing indictment of what Ramsay appeared to view as a chronic reluctance to make tough decisions or embrace transformative ideas. What made the moment all the more electrifying was the context in which it occurred. Ramsay's critique was not delivered in a private setting, or as part of a casual conversation, but in front of an audience that included influential figures from various industries. The room was filled with a palpable tension as Ramsay unleashed his tirade, his words cutting through the air like a chef's knife through a ripe tomato. Those present could only watch in stunned silence as the famously combative chef delivered what amounted to a public dressing down of the nation's leader. In dissecting Starmer's leadership, Ramsay highlighted several key points, chief among them being the Prime Minister's handling of the economy. Ramsay argued that Starmer's policies, while ostensibly designed to stabilize the nation after years of uncertainty, had failed to inspire confidence among the general public. For Ramsay, it wasn't enough to simply maintain the status quo. True leadership, he seemed to imply, required a willingness to take risks and challenge the norms. This sentiment seemed to resonate with those who have criticized Starmer for his cautious approach, particularly in the face of mounting crises that have tested his administration. Ramsay also touched on the social challenges that have defined much of Starmer's time in office. From issues of inequality to questions surrounding the UK's role on the global stage, Ramsay lambasted what he saw as a lack of vision and a failure to articulate a compelling narrative for the country's future. The chef's words struck a chord with many who have long questioned whether Starmer's leadership style is capable of addressing the deeply entrenched issues facing modern Britain. For Ramsay, the heart of the problem lay in what he perceived as a disconnect between Starmer's rhetoric and his actions, a gap that he suggested had eroded public trust in the Prime Minister's ability to deliver on his promises. The implications of Ramsay's critique extend far beyond the immediate spectacle of the event itself. By stepping into the political arena, Ramsay not only broadened the scope of his influence but also underscored the growing intersection between culture and politics in contemporary society. His comments reflected a broader discontent that transcends party lines, tapping into a vein of frustration that has been building for years among ordinary citizens and public figures alike. In many ways, Ramsay's tirade served as a microcosm of the wider debates surrounding Starmer's leadership, encapsulating the tensions and uncertainties that have come to define his time in office. It's worth noting that Ramsay's foray into political criticism is emblematic of a larger trend, in which prominent cultural figures feel increasingly compelled to weigh in on matters of governance. While some might argue that Ramsay's critique lacked the nuance of a seasoned political analyst, others would contend that his unvarnished perspective brought a refreshing authenticity to the discussion. Ramsay's status as an outsider to the political establishment lent his words a certain weight, allowing him to articulate frustrations that many within the system are either unable or unwilling to express. The ramifications of this event are likely to be felt for some time. For Starmer, Ramsay's blistering critique represents yet another challenge in an already fraught tenure. While the Prime Minister has faced his fair share of criticism from political opponents and media pundits, the very public nature of Ramsay's comments adds a new layer of complexity to his leadership. Unlike traditional critiques, which often follow predictable lines of partisan debate, Ramsay's words cut to the heart of broader societal frustrations, forcing Starmer to confront issues that extend beyond the realm of party politics. For Ramsay, the episode marks a significant departure from his usual role as a culinary commentator. By stepping into the political spotlight, he has positioned himself as a voice of the people, unafraid to challenge those in power. Whether or not this marks the beginning of a new chapter in Ramsay's career remains to be seen, but there is no doubt that his critique of Starmer has cemented his status as a cultural force to be reckoned with. The event also raises important questions about the nature of political discourse in the modern era. As figures like Ramsay increasingly blur the lines between culture and politics, the traditional boundaries of public debate are being redefined. This evolution presents both opportunities and challenges, offering new avenues for engagement, while also complicating the dynamics of accountability and influence. In this context, Ramsay's critique of Starmer serves as a reminder of the power of cultural figures to shape public opinion and influence the course of political events. At its core, Ramsay's takedown of Starmer was more than just a moment of high drama. It was a reflection of the deep-seated anxieties and aspirations that define contemporary British society. In his fiery critique, Ramsay articulated a vision of leadership that prioritizes courage, innovation, and a willingness to take bold action. Whether or not this vision aligns with the realities of governance is a question that remains open to debate, but there is no denying the impact of Ramsay's words on the political landscape. In the days and weeks to come, the fallout from this extraordinary moment is likely to spark intense debate among politicians and the public alike. For now, however, one thing is clear. Gordon Ramsay's critique of Keir Starmer has injected a new level of urgency and intensity into the ongoing conversation about the future of British leadership. And as the nation continues to grapple with the challenges of the present and the uncertainties of the future, the echoes of Ramsay's fiery words will undoubtedly linger in the minds of all who witnessed this remarkable event. The aftermath of Gordon Ramsay's public critique of Keir Starmer left an indelible impression, not just on those present, but also on the broader public consciousness. While the event itself created a stir, its implications unraveled, layer by layer, weaving into the complex narrative of Starmer's leadership and the expectations placed on contemporary political figures. Ramsay's words, cutting and exact, acted as a symbolic stand-in for the frustrations of many, a manifestation of growing unease about the state of Britain's politics. One of the most striking aspects of the event was the juxtaposition between Ramsay's brash persona and the controlled, almost clinical image Starmer projects. Ramsay is a man of extremes, someone whose world thrives on passion, immediate results, and raw authenticity. Starmer, by contrast, is often described as measured and cautious, embodying a lawyerly precision that leaves little room for theatrics. This stark contrast heightened the impact of Ramsay's takedown. It wasn't just a critique of Starmer's policies or decisions. It was a clash of personalities, values, and leadership styles. Ramsay, representing a results-driven, emotionally charged approach, seemed to reject what he viewed as Starmer's overly calculated methods. The chef's relentless drive to produce perfection in his field translated into an expectation for boldness in governance, a trait he appeared to find lacking in the Prime Minister. For Ramsay, leadership is about seizing moments, taking risks, and inspiring those who follow. By publicly challenging Starmer, he presented an unspoken argument that the nation's challenges demanded a leader with fire in their belly, not just an ability to navigate bureaucracy. In many ways, Ramsay's words highlighted a broader cultural shift. There is a growing demand for leaders who not only manage crises, but inspire confidence, ambition, and hope. Starmer, often criticized for his technocratic approach, has faced challenges in connecting emotionally with voters. Ramsay's fiery critique played into this narrative, underscoring the idea that leadership is as much about energy and vision as it is about competence and pragmatism. The timing of Ramsay's remarks added another layer of significance. Starmer's tenure has been marked by an uphill battle to restore stability after years of political turbulence, including the lingering aftershocks of Brexit and the pandemic. While some have praised his steady hand, others view his approach as a missed opportunity to redefine Britain's trajectory. Ramsay's attack came at a moment when the nation seemed to be yearning for a more decisive direction, and his critique tapped into the simmering frustrations of a populace tired of incrementalism. The chef's takedown also shone a light on the challenges of leading in an era of hyper-scrutiny. In today's interconnected world, where every decision is dissected in real time and leaders are judged as much on optics as on outcomes, Starmer's cautious style can sometimes feel out of step with the pace of public expectations. Ramsay's no-holds-barred critique embodied the impatience of a society that demands immediate results and compelling narratives. His fiery words seem to encapsulate the broader dissatisfaction with politics as usual, offering a stark reminder of the pressure on leaders to deliver not just solutions, but inspiration. The fallout from Ramsay's remarks also sparked a broader conversation about the role of public figures in shaping political discourse. As a celebrity chef, Ramsay operates in a realm far removed from the complexities of governance, yet his comments resonated in a way that traditional political critiques often do not. This speaks to the power of cultural figures to amplify societal frustrations and influence public debate. Ramsay's critique was not confined to the walls of the event where it occurred. It reverberated across social media, news outlets, and casual conversations, becoming a flashpoint in the ongoing discussion about Britain's future. One of the most intriguing dimensions of the event was the response it elicited from various corners of society. Some praised Ramsay for his candor, viewing his critique as a necessary wake-up call for a political system that often feels disconnected from the realities of ordinary citizens. Others, however, questioned the legitimacy of his intervention, arguing that complex political challenges cannot be reduced to the kind of black-and-white judgments Ramsay is known for. This divide highlights the tensions inherent in contemporary political discourse, where the desire for authenticity often clashes with the need for nuance. For Starmer, Ramsay's public critique posed a unique challenge. Unlike traditional political attacks, which often come from predictable sources and follow familiar scripts, Ramsay's takedown was unorthodox and unexpected. It was less about specific policies and more about the broader perception of Starmer's leadership. This kind of critique is harder to counter, because it taps into emotional undercurrents that are not easily addressed through policy announcements or press briefings. Ramsay's words forced Starmer to confront questions about his image, his style, and the emotional connection he fosters or fails to foster with the public. The event also raised questions about the evolving expectations of leadership in a changing world. As societies grapple with unprecedented challenges, from climate change to economic inequality, there is a growing demand for leaders who can transcend the confines of traditional politics and offer a bold vision for the future. Ramsay's critique can be seen as a reflection of this demand, a call for leaders to step up, take risks, and inspire action. In this context, his comments were not just a critique of Starmer as an individual, but of a broader political culture that often prioritizes caution over courage. In the days following the event, the media frenzy surrounding Ramsay's remarks underscored the enduring power of narrative in shaping public perceptions of leadership. Ramsay, a master storyteller in his own right, had crafted a narrative that resonated with many. A tale of a leader who, despite his best efforts, had failed to rise to the occasion. This narrative, whether fair or not, highlighted the challenges of leading in an age where perception often matters as much as reality. Starmer's ability to counter this narrative and redefine his leadership style will be a key test of his resilience and adaptability. Beyond the immediate implications for Starmer, Ramsay's critique also offered a window into the broader state of British society. The frustrations articulated by Ramsay mirrored those of a nation grappling with profound uncertainty and change. From economic instability to cultural divisions, the challenges facing Britain are as complex as they are daunting. In this context, Ramsay's call for bold leadership was not just a critique of Starmer, but a reflection of the anxieties and aspirations of a society in flux. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Gordon Ramsay's critique of Keir Starmer's leadership? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.